Every week, the average knowledge worker spends 4 to 6 hours doing the exact same thing, dragging boxes, aligning text, and searching for the right icons to illustrate an idea. We call this building a deck. But looking closely at the process reveals what it actually is: administrative labor dressed up as design. This happens because we start with a template. We try to take our fluid, organic ideas and force them into rigid grid boxes. The tool dictates the shape of the thought. A content-first workflow reverses this dynamic. Instead of starting with empty boxes, you start with your text, and the underlying logic of your words dictates the final design. Ending the formatting trap requires software that prioritizes the structural relationship between your words over generic aesthetic layouts. Napkin AI is built entirely around this concept. It reads your plain text and instantly translates it into structured professional graphics. You have two ways to begin. You can bypass design entirely by pasting your raw notes directly into the editor, or you can have the AI generate the text from scratch. If you type a simple prompt, the engine writes out the content. It breaks the information down into a logically sectioned hierarchy, priming it for visual translation. Behind the scenes, natural language processing parses the text. It analyzes the relationships between words to determine if your idea is a chronological sequence, a direct comparison, or a clustered mind map. True automation requires comprehension. The machine reads the structural logic of human language and translates it into a visual format. To see this in action, you simply hover your cursor over any block of text. A blue lightning bolt icon appears in the margin. Click it, and the procedural steps on the left are instantly mapped into a sequential timeline on the right. If that layout doesn't serve your presentation, a central palette of architectural choices lets you seamlessly swap the visual structure. For more complex concepts, the system automatically selects appropriate visual metaphors. This chart shows how the AI parsed 4 distinct text categories and represented them as interlocking gears. This pipeline collapses the gap between a messy, raw thought and an impactful presentation into seconds. The translation phase is fully automated. The AI's initial draft is entirely modular. You can use this floating palette to adjust background colors, brightness, and individual connectors to align exactly with your brand guidelines. You can also scroll through aesthetic themes. Selecting a casual, soft design shifts the tone of the entire graphic instantly, all without requiring you to rebuild the underlying structure. These visuals are not trapped inside the software. You can export them into standard scalable formats like PNG, SVG, and PDF. These element-level editable graphics plug directly into your existing Google Slides or Canva decks. The platform acts as an accelerator for your current workflow. Eliminating the design bottleneck shifts the power of visual communication out of the hands of specialized designers and directly to everyday knowledge workers. We see this operating in high-velocity environments. Consultants rapidly build frameworks, educators decode dense study materials, and marketers map out complex campaign funnels on the fly. This approach makes visual clarity an immediate part of the non-designer's workflow, rather than a time-consuming afterthought. Historically, we sketch our best ideas on physical napkins because that simple act achieves instant, undeniable clarity in a conversation. Compare that purity to the bloated reality of modern presentation software, which often obscures your message with complex menus and alignment grids. Automated generation ensures that the final image reflects the specific logic of your thoughts, rather than the constraints of a pre-made template. By stepping away from the canvas and releasing our ideas from the trap of formatting, human intelligence is free to focus entirely on the message itself.